Good afternoon. This is Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Bud Blake, the chair of the board this year. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is John Hutchings. To his right is Labanita Bomar, the clerk of the board. And to her right is the county manager, Ramiro Chavez. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Hutchings to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. I'm going to ask Summit Lake Fire Chief Steve North to lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief.
Fantastic. With that in mind, I'll ask the board if there's an approval for the agenda for today.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for the Board of County Commissioners meeting for June 20, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second for today's agenda, June 20th, 2017. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so that motion carries. And the board meeting minutes for June 6th, 2017 and June 13th, 2017.
I move to approve the board meeting minutes from June 6th and June 13, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries also. So now is the fun time of the Board of County Commissioners, is to get to see a presentation. And today we're going to start off with Commissioner John Hutchings is going to lead us for his certificate of appreciation for some activity that happened at Camp Thunderbird at Lake Summit.
Yep, for Summit Lake, there are several groups that we'd like to show our appreciation to. We, the Board of County Commissioners, would like to express our appreciation to the organizations that have assisted the Summit Lake community during the toxic algae bloom. Their participation has been critical in responding to this emergency, and we would like to recognize, number one, Thurston County Food Bank for providing 23 pallets of water. And representing the Thurston County Food Bank, we have Robert Coit here. And the Strong Center and Discover Aquatics Swim School for providing shower facilities to community members free of charge. I think we have David Ross and someone else, I think. Is David here? Okay. And Summit Lake Fire Station 93 for providing water and supplies to community members. And we have Chief Steve North here. And Camp Thunderbird for providing water and a community meeting location. Andrew Beebe, is Andrew here?
Brandon, yeah.
Oh, it's Brandon. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. And Summit Lake Community Association for providing water and information to community members. And Vaughn Hodgins is here. He's the president as well. Well, would you please come on up?
You want to say something?
What?
You want to say something?
And if you'd like to address anybody, the audience, whomever, come up to the podium. Or come up to the podium if you'd like to say some words.
Tell who you are and what you represent in terms of...
Yeah, give us your name, the organization, and say something nice.
All right, Robert Coit, Executive Director of Thurston County Food Bank. I want to do two things. One is to say thank you to my board of directors that allows us to be an active participant in the Disaster Assistance Council, which made the request for resources from our organization. So I do have one board member hiding in the corner. Patrick, would you please just raise your hand? Thank you.
Patrick, hey, Patrick. We know
You
him.
might know him, yeah.
Yeah.
And second, I want to thank my greater network, so organizations such as Food Lifeline, Northwest Harvest, Emergency Food Network that provided us some of that water and helped us get it down here to make it available to the residents of Summit Lake. And last, my stellar staff, including Heather Sundin and some drivers that made all of that work possible, because I certainly didn't deliver those 23 plus pallets.
Yes, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Heather. Chief.
My name's Steve North. I'm the fire chief of the McLean Black Lake Fire Department. That's our Summit Lake Station 93. I know we feel that it's our duty to support the community out there, and I know this is a big deal for those that live and use the water in the lake. And I know we had support for this operation to the highest levels of my agency with one of my bosses here behind me. Robert Coit is one of our fire commissioners. But really all the accolades really needs to go to the 6 firefighters that live at that fire station, Station 93, that are not here with us tonight. They were out there helping with the water as that operation unfolded. So on behalf of the fire department, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My name is Brandon Beebe. I'm the Vice President of Council Relationships for the Boy Scouts of America, Pacific Harbors Council. And so we service 5 counties, Pierce, Thurston, part of Mason, Grace Harbor, and Pacific counties, I believe. And so our board and our camp, which has been there since the early 30s, we try to be a good steward of the water and the community that surrounds us. And so we were happy to put our motto and our slogan into effect, which is be prepared. It's one, and the other one is to do a good turn daily. So we're just glad to partner with the residents there and other service agencies to be a good steward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Good afternoon. My name is Vaughn Hodgins. I'm the acting or sitting president of the Summit Lake Community Association. And I guess I would like to start I guess there's nowhere to start. There's so many people that have helped us. I would want to start with the commissioners and the support that we've received from Thurston County in this effort to sort of resolve this dilemma. I think the Boy Scouts, we've gotten a great relationship with those guys over the last year or two as far as reaching out back and forth, and we absolutely appreciate all the support they've given us out there and continue to today. Food bank, the only problem, we've created a lot of extra plastic bottles, but thank goodness we have the plastic bottles, and we appreciate your help so much. The fire station, Chief North and his guys out there have been absolutely great. So I think the community and everybody that sort of helped to preserve a quality of lifestyle, even though it was sort of tossed under the bus, has been really great in helping us all achieve sort of an opportunity to move through this. And again, there's probably a lot of the Thurston County people that have helped. I could start naming names, but I think everybody, equality, water quality, health, everybody's been really, really great and helpful. And we appreciate and want to thank each and every one of you. So thank you. And thank you, Councilman.
You want to say something else?
I just want to say collectively, I've been hearing from Summit Lake community, they're grateful for each and every one of your organizations and the work you've done to ease their pain through this, because it's ongoing. So thank you.
Yeah, whether you're representing food, fire, water, community, Boy Scouts, I would like to take this moment personally and professionally and on behalf of the staff and this commission to thank you for your involvement. It really shows volume, the care and love we have for Thurston County, Summit Lake. And I just absolutely thank the world of you for being there, stepping up to the plate and delivering. So thank you very much.
I'd just like to say we're all in this together. Thank you very much.
Now can we get a photo?
Yeah, come on up and do a semicircle up here, a horseshoe, and I'll hand you the certificate, and we'll get a photo.
Is that what you're about to do? Get a photo? We'll put Heather in the middle.
I neglected to say this, but our council executive is also here, Ralph Volker. So.
Bring him up. Bring him on up. We like that. We love it. Let Brian take a photo.
Yeah.
And David, Aquatics? Discover
No
Aquatics?
swimmers.
Is that part of the same group?
No.
It's not? Okay. Something like fire. There you go, Chief. Camp Thunderbird. Summit Lake Community, oh, there we go. You're the last one.
I was the last one, first one in, last one
By
out.
default.
Yeah.
So sideways,
How we're gonna do that.
first row, second row.
Come on, Patrick. Patrick, come on, man. Wait one, Brian. We got missing one.
There we go.
Lord, make it all happen. That's what boards
Take
do.
a knee.
They make it all happen.
How about that?
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Don't look at her, Brian.
Okay, you good?
1, 2, 3. Great, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Fantastic. So the next item we have on the agenda is for the opportunity for the public to address the board. And so I have a check-in, a sign-in sheet, and we do it by the clock. Labanita's gonna recalculate here in a second to read 3 minutes, and it'll count down. I do it by those who signed in, first come, first serve. And if I didn't call your name, I'll ask you at the end if you still wanna come up to the podium and address the board. So the first person I have is John Pettit. Mr. Pettit.
So, first come, first served, just like the CIP.
No.
Oh, good.
You have the floor, Mr. Pettit, and state where you're from and kind of from the county.
I'm John Pettit, I'm from the East Olympia area, a place called Deschutes River Ranch is what I call my home. I'm here today, and I guess it's always nice to be able to see things where we have proclamations, congratulations, pat on the backs. We need a lot of that because there's a lot of people put a lot of effort out. But the primary job of the commissioners has a lot more than just that. So I guess the dog and pony show part, I have real reservations about. What I have reservations about is when I see things in the newspaper where we're so moving forward with the ideas of building new courthouses, or we're building maybe a convention center. Apparently, the commission has no understanding of the actual budget situation of the county. We can't afford enough deputies. We can't afford enough other services. And Central Services, the organization within the county here that's supposed to take care of the facility, pleads poverty, but they've been collecting millions of dollars from every single department has been contributing towards the maintenance of this facility, paying rent to their organization. And based upon a recent appraisal, although I didn't care for the appraisal, the estimate was about $10 million in order to get the condition of the current courthouse back up into condition. But apparently, the commission thinks it's better to spend $175 to $200 million to get a new courthouse. Maybe you want your name on the side of a building. I don't know. You can go put a plaque out there and put your name up. Everyone can look at it. This is not about politics. It's about taking care of the people of Thurston County. So, am I disappointed? Yeah. I'm really disappointed when I know that when I come here to meetings seems to be more of a political positioning, posturing, than it is about actually caring. Now, a word about a previous commission. Yes, we replaced some previous commissioners over the last 4 years. Why? Well, I hate to tell you this, but it wasn't that we really liked you guys so much. We didn't like the policies of the previous commission. We wanted them out. So, they were removed. So far, I haven't seen a lot of the things I like the policies where we're really going. We haven't ended up getting rid of a transportation benefit district. We haven't taken care of a plastic bag ban. We haven't taken care of a lot of these campaign promises we were so sure we were going to get. So I do see some good things. And I understand the county manager is even working to have me perhaps oversee a little bit of question about an appraisal that was given to the county about this whole facility. Well, I suggest let's spend $10 million and rehab this entire facility. Get it out of your mind about building a new one.
Thank you for your work, sir. So the next person I have on the list is Mr. Brian Merriman.
My name's Brian Merriman. I'm here representing the Thurston County Farm Bureau, and I'll be very brief. I recently learned that a number of goats had been taken off the Latins property here in the county, and although I'm not privy to all of the specifics, it does seem that there is potential here for this to have been a bit hasty. I'd request that the commissioners take a look at the situation and ascertain whether or not procedures were followed that would have, for example, allowed for veterinarian inspection prior to confiscation and things of that nature. Any more than that, I'm not really prepared to say because I don't know the facts of the issue. My being here today is more a result of questions people have asked me and I've been unable to answer. I will refer you, though, to my fellow board member, Glenn Morgan, sitting behind me, who I do know has a bit more information on the situation. Thank you.
Thank you for your words, sir. The next person on this is Mr. Glenn Morgan.
Commissioners, as always, it's good to be here to speak with you. For the record, Glenn Morgan lived between Rochester and Tenino. And I think, I wrote an article about the seizure of the goats from the Latin cider mill, and I think I violated one of the rules that I usually try to follow when I write these articles, which is never write an article when you're upset. And so I think what I really want to talk about here a lot is just mainly the possibility of maybe reviewing some of the policies that the county currently has. It's very easy especially when we have staff transitions in any department, whether that's the sheriff's office or any place else, that whatever the processes and procedures were before, they get lost in translation when staff changes. And one of the concerns that I really have about the issue, and I can't imagine probably a more thankless task that sheriff's office has than coming to respond to an animal cruelty case or a domestic violence case. I'm sure these are really probably some of the hardest issues that they have to deal with, and since several of you are in law enforcement, you know what I'm talking about. But what I think it may be worth looking at the Joint Animal Services in Thurston County and looking at perhaps reviewing those policies. The Washington State Livestock Coalition was formed in Thurston County originally in 2010 to actually address issues like this and to act as a moderating force where they could actually be there to help people and avoid animal seizure cases when they're really not necessary, and to help facilitate problems. And they had done that in the past, and I think that that's kind of been an option that's been lost in the policy process that the county's been following. And I'm mostly concerned about the lack of credibility that sometimes comes out of cases like this, where it appears. I'm a big fan of the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. I've done ride-alongs with them. I'm a big supporter and have been for a long time. And I believe there's a fundamental job that we have in this county is to protect the people who live here, and that department does a great job, I think, doing it. I'm worried about credibility loss when perhaps the department just loses its way and something like this happens. And I think it is probably worth reviewing those policies. It's difficult because Animal Control Services, most of the calls that go on are in the urban areas for dogs and cats, not so much for rural farm settings, and that's a different type of situation. It takes somebody probably with some knowledge when they go out and look at those situations to be familiar with larger livestock or farm settings, and that I think it's really worthwhile to perhaps review the cases without me getting into a lot of specifics on this case. Obviously, if you read my article, I was pretty upset about it initially, but it's also something I think we just need to fix and maybe avoid this in the future if we could. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your words, sir. Okay, so I'll look out to the audience and see if there's anybody who'd like to come to the podium to address the board. And just by show of hand, if there's anybody, just let me know. Seeing no one, I guess I'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the number 2 item, the county manager's update. And I'll ask Romero if he has any updates.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yes, I have a couple items for you. First of all, I'd like to follow up to some comments Mr. John Pettit provided last week on the Commissioner's public testimony. It was related to the appraisal of the courthouse that you received from Kidder Matthews, dated April 20, 2017. Mr. Pettit provided a copy of the Thurston County Code, Chapter 5.64020, where it states the delegation of authority to conduct appraisals. And that authority is delegated to the Director of Public Works. Reading into the code, that is the intent, I believe, of this particular code, is to ensure the Public Works Director conducts an appraisal to establish a just compensation when the department is securing property to implement any particular road project. I also believe the Board of County Commissioners have the authority to delegate and assign any particular work to any director or any staff in the county, which you did so to Martin Casey, the Director of Central Services, directing him to conduct or secure the services of Kidder Matthews to conduct an appraisal. The second part of Mr. Pettit's testimony or comment was related to the nature, I guess the content of that appraisal related to the courthouse. You have requested staff to reach out to Kidder Matthews, particularly the appraiser who conducted this study. So they will be coming here and brief you on the approach the appraiser took and determine the evaluation of the courthouse. That briefing is scheduled for June 9th, 2017, at 2 in the afternoon. And I would like to invite Mr. Pettit to attend that meeting so he can hear the details of that particular approach to the appraisal. That is one item.
What is the date? June,
June 9th?
June 9th?
9th. July 9th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me double check. Let me double check.
That's a Sunday.
No, let me double check.
Y'all coming on?
Standing by.
I missed the digits. It's June 29th.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for catching that. It's June 29th at 2 in the afternoon. So I'd like to invite you, Mr. Pettit. So the other item that I'd like to follow up is similar to the briefing that I provided you last week, and this is related to the fireworks as the season is coming up. And so we have received a few emails related to requesting perhaps the commissioners may consider acting on a full ban of selling fireworks. Back in June of 2016, on June 27th, the previous Board of County Commissioners entertained a public hearing where one of the options was to implement a total ban on the sale of fireworks in the unincorporated of the county. As a result of the public hearing, the commission is implementing a ordinance number 15308, where amended portions of the code where it gives the authority of the county manager, to the county manager, to ban the discharge of consumer fireworks only on extreme weather conditions. And that will be in consultation with the fire marshal, and also will be in consultation with the fire chiefs in the region. It also ties to the chapter 70.77 of the Revised Code of Washington, where it states the first day of the selling of legal fireworks is June 28th of any given year. So if the county manager decides to implement a ban on the discharge of consumer fireworks, that decision needs to be made by June 27. So I have in front of me the long range forecast. And I am not going to be playing a weatherman here, but I'm going to read what the 10-day forecast will take us to Tuesday, June 27, and that will be the date in which we need to make a decision. And so far, we have temperatures ranging from 70 degrees today to as high as 90 degrees on Sunday, the 25th. So we're going to have, and after that, it's going to come down to just about 74 degrees on June 27. And we have moisture content ranging from 0% to just about 10% on any given day. So based on the current conditions and the forecast, I don't believe at this point there is a need to implement this particular action to ban the discharge of fireworks. However, if the conditions worsen, certainly we'll be in touch with the fire districts as well as the fire marshal to see if additional action needs to be taken. Thank you.
All righty. So the next item we have is the consent items, and I'll see if there's a motion for consent items.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent items A alpha through E echo.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the consent items A through E. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The first item we have is for departmental items is Public Works. And we have a contract award for Rich Road, Phase 2 with Matt Unselman. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Pull the mic down just a tad for you.
On May 27th, 4 bids were received and opened for the Rich Road Phase 2 project. This project's an extension of the previous phase of Rich Road that was completed a couple years ago between the Deschutes River and 87th Avenue. This phase goes from 87th Avenue, if I can speak, to just north of Normandy Street. Improvements include widening the travel lanes to 12 feet and adding 6-foot shoulders on both sides of the road. The lowest responsive bid was $1.848 million from Active Construction. The construction costs will be paid for using $1.35 million in federal funding, and the remainder will come from the county road fund. Public Works is requesting permission from the Board of County Commissioners today to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract with active construction to complete the project work. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments? No?
I don't have any.
All right. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to award a contract for the Rich Road Phase 2 project, CRP number 61460, to Active Construction Incorporated of Puyallup, Washington, in the amount of $1,848,848, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, up to 20% of the contract, $370,000, or an aggregate amount of $2,218,848.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so that motion carries. Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
I think the next item is Public Health and Social Services. We have the approval of 2017 Community Investment Partnership Contracts, and Mr. Gary Aiden. Hi
Thank
there,
you, sir.
Gary.
Good morning, good afternoon. Gary Aiden, Public Health and Social Services. This item today is request that you approve 12 contracts for the SIP process this year. The SIP is Community Investment Partnership. It is a combination of the HHSC, which is the Health and Human Services Council, and the United Way of Thurston County. Those two agencies combine their resources and have an RFP process, request for proposal process, each year. This year, in February of 2017, they put out their request for proposals. 39 applications were received. A total of $1.8 million was requested, and the SIP had $482,000 to give away. In total, 12 contracts were selected for funding. They begin on July 1st, 2017, and on June 30th, 2018. The total revenue comes from United Way contribution of $280,000 this year, and the HHSC at $202,449, and those funds are contributed by the cities and towns and the county to this process. Happy to address any questions you'd have, sir.
Any questions, Gary?
Nope.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the community investment partnership contracts between the county and the nonprofit service providers as per the attached list for a combined total maximum funding amount of $482,977 for the duration of July 1, 2017 through June 30, 2018, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts as well as future amendments that do not change this approved dollar amount or duration by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 And motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
There, you got another one?
Yes, sir. This is the revenue side from the United Way of Thurston County for the Community Investment Partnership. This year, United Way has pledged $280,000 to go to those contracts we just discussed. That amount will be distributed given to the county over the next year, beginning July 1 through June 30th of 2018. And County acts as the fiscal agent, so we'll combine that with the resources provided by the cities and towns and distribute that to those agencies you just approved contracts for. So I'm happy to address any questions you have on that, sir.
Questions of Gary on this?
No.
No, sir?
I do. So for the viewing audience, kind of back up and come forward again, and I know you say SIP or CIP, either acronym you want to use, but kind of walk us through what the CIP does in terms of the Thurston Thrive Initiative and how it works as a funding mechanism.
Sure. The Community Investment Partnership seeks guidance from the various HAT, the HAT Housing Action Team. Try not to use too many
That's okay, that's okay.
letters there. The ERAT, the Education Resilience Team for Youth, all of the other housing or the action teams of Thurston Thrives provide input into the SIP, the Community Investment Partnership Steering Committee, who are elected officials from each city and town in the county, and 4 members of United Way, to give them guidance on the projects that and priorities that they should hopefully select to address the key needs here in the community. So the two try to work together, and we're in a learning process there, and we're continuing to try to work together.
All right, this is our second year doing it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, no questions in mind. Is there a motion?
I just want to clarify one more thing for the public anyway, our viewing public, that the CIP, or the Community Investment Partnership, is just one of several funding mechanisms for these organizations.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Community Investment Partnership contract with United Way of Thurston County, allowing Thurston County to serve as the fiscal agent for CIP program funding and receive $280,000 total maximum compensation for the duration of July 1, 2017 through June 30, 2018, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contract, as well as any future amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries also.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
So the next item is number 6, Commissioner and County Manager items, and this is where chance where commissioners are able to talk about what they've been doing in the public or some particular committee they sit on, and I'll just ask Mr. Gary Edwards if he has anything he'd like to start off with.
So I don't steal thunder from some of my fellow board members, I'll just focus on maybe 2 issues where I was in attendance individually. That was at the Yelm Economic Center meeting, or summit out at Yelm. And it was a good discussion amongst the business community as to how we can move forward. Flagged the event. I guess maybe others here might talk about that over at City of Lacey. It's refreshing for us veterans to see that there's still patriotism alive and well here in Thurston County. But the main thing maybe I did that I think is worth note is I attended a tour and kind of a show and tell at the Salvation Army. And that event, I would encourage those of you in the public that possibly have a point of view that I do. We have a lot of groups out there that help a lot of people, but I have to say I've always felt that the Salvation Army had a better process. It kind of comes back to, give a man a fish and he'll eat for the day, but teach him how to fish and he can fish the rest of his life. And I can tell you that the Salvation Army is kind of a tough love organization, if you will. And what they're doing is they are helping others that really want to help themselves, that not only are they receiving help, but they are trying to better their situation in life every day. There's stringent rules and regulations that the Salvation Army operates by, and I think that's the best way to help people, rather than just to hand out a hand up. And so I commend the Salvation Army for all their many years. I think mid-1800s was when they were put together, and they've helped a lot of people. And I would encourage anybody in our viewing audience that's so inclined to take a look at the Salvation Army and see if that isn't a group that you might be willing to participate with and match your point of view maybe on how to help folks. A lot of good organizations out there, but I think they do the best job possible to get people back on their feet. That's it. Thanks.
Great. How about you, sir?
Last week, I attended the Transportation Policy Board. We further talked about transportation issues in and around the region. Attended the Olympia Regional Clean Air Agency. That's also being impacted by a lack thereof of a state budget being passed, if that happens. And attended the Leadership Thurston County graduation luncheon. That was exceptionally well attended. And also, as Commissioner Edwards pointed out, attended Flag Day last June 14th, last week in Lacey, which is also the birthday of the United States Army. And last Thursday, Friday, attended in Vancouver, Washington, the Washington State Behavioral Health Conference. Learned more about adults and youth with mental health issues and chemical dependency issues, leadership via Civil War generals, which was fascinating, leadership in regards to leading managed care organizations and BHOs that were deeply involved in right now. And then on Saturday, Capital City Pride Parade, walked in the parade with P-Flag Olympia, that's parents of and friends of lesbians and gays, and that was fun. And tonight, I'm attending the Skookumchuck Grange Community Forum, and we'll be talking about the HCP, conservation districts, water issues in the county, and mineral issues in the county as well. And it's going to be hugely attended, advertised in the paper and such, and I reckon there'll be a lot of people there. And I'm glad that staff, the subject matter experts, will be there to provide answers. Thank you, sir.
So for me, the last week, I was able to obviously attend the Salvation Army with Commissioner Edwards. It was a great visit there. It's been a long time since I've been down there to see how they're operating and what they do to have a important impact on the community. Flag Day, it was a great representation of all kind of people from the county, both rural, urban, city, elected officials, and just the general public. It was a great turnout, and it's one of the best turnouts I've seen in a long time, and I've been there for the last 4 years. In particular, I also did a video with the South Sound Emergency Management, and that was super cool because we have a volunteer organization, the South Sound Emergency Management, that helps Thurston County Sheriff in needs of when someone's lost in the woods or missing in action or something like that. And so they either do it by foot or on bike or on Jeep in some sort of mode of transportation. But they're super well organized. There's a team of about 25 or 30 people here in Thurston County that do that. But I absolutely got a blast out of being taken to point B and hidden in a little cove-like thing, and they had a dog that come and searched me out about a mile or two away, and that dog found me within about 20 minutes just by rubbing a cloth and giving it to him, and the bloodhound did his job, so that was super cool. But one of the more important events that happened over the last week was I attended, along with others, the opioid conference in Seattle at the University of Washington. It was hosted by the Washington State Patrol and the Washington Association of Prosecuting Attorneys. And this opioid conference was absolutely phenomenal in terms of eye-opening and revealing and how bad the opioid epidemic is, not only here in the state of Washington, Thurston County, but nationwide. And we covered a whole host of subjects, ranging from how it's trafficked in from internationally, or how it's built within the United States, or here regionally, just the whole marketing and the flow of drugs, and all the way down to in the medicine cabinets of how it gets there. And I'll talk about that in a second. And some of the health impacts, such as the doctors that, be it dentists or physicians, that have handed opioids out and say not in a very favorable way, especially those doctors or dentists that are doing it illegally, if you will, by handing some out and then receiving funds back, and what we call dirty doctors or dirty dentists in some fashion. And then how that impacts the system as a whole. And then families play a huge role. You'd be surprised your teenagers going into the medicine cabinets or your drawers at home and taking the opioids, be it heroin or fentanyl. Oh my God, fentanyl is so potent, and how that enters into their body. It just takes over the body and destroys it basically over a matter of day or a time or a week or so. But then families do not really secure these opioids within the house or at grandma's house or your friend's house. And next thing you know, kids bring them to school and they share them, and it starts this whole kind of trend or fad in what kids and teenagers do unintelligently. I'll say it that way. I had a different word, but that's a different way of saying it. But then, it's just phenomenal how that's come to be. And yet we need the fentanyl for when you go to have surgeries, you need anesthesia or something like that. But just how bad it is in the state of Washington, and in particular, Thurston County. I forget the number, but we do pretty good, but it was anywhere from 4 to 14, give and take, how you measure it per the year or per what we have over a whole year's time or what we had so far this year as far as deaths attributed to opioids. And then finally, as we regularly do, we like to go down to Rochester and celebrate the Sweet Day. We had the Sweet Day Parade, and it's always go down there to have meatballs and, what else do they have down there? It's, spaghetti or whatever it was. It was good, community fun, and it's good to have that, that tradition carry on each year. And a lot of people turn out for that too. So with that in mind, I'll ask the county manager if he has anything to say.
Thank you again, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your schedule this week. And the appointments that are going to be highlighting are those appointments that at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Tomorrow, starting 9 o'clock, you will have a follow-up briefing on the Grand Mound US 12 Access Study. At 9:30 in the morning, you will entertain proposed utility rates related to some water systems in the county. At 10 in the afternoon, you will have a follow-up on the municipal stormwater permit. That's the MPDES as we know it. At 11, you will have a follow-up on Title 26 as a result of the June 1st briefing. At noon, you will have the opportunity to have a luncheon with the rest of the elected officials here in the county. At 1:30 in the afternoon, you will have a briefing from Public Works staff related to the testimony that you received a couple of weeks ago related to the Long Lake and Long Lake in Lake Lawrence. So that will be an opportunity for you to hear the responses to those comments from Public Works staff. At 5 in the afternoon, you have a special screening of resilience, the biology of stress and the science of hope. And I believe all of you are invited to that. Moving on to Thursday, June 22nd, at 9 in the morning, you will have a briefing on the hydrogeological review of proposed mine expansion. 9:30, you will have the Thurston County Community Media, an overview of their services and general discussion with, as we call it, TCM. And at 10 in the morning, you will have Commissioners check-in. Well, I will be developing an agenda and make it available to the public tomorrow morning. On Saturday, at 5 in the afternoon, you have an invitation from the Together organization of Thurston County, where they will be hosting a Hats Off event, and that is located at the South Puget Sound Community College. That will be in the Lacey campus. Moving on to Monday, June 26, you have a briefing with the Master Builders Association of Thurston County. That will be 2 in the afternoon, and it's 2 subjects they would like to discuss with you. One is the fire impact fees, and as well, they would like to have a conversation on the HCP, on the Gopher interim review process that you have approved for 2017. That's all I have for you today.
All right, is there anything else?
No.
With that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of June 20, 2017.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. We are adjourned.